Confession time. I'm at the point of my lifting career where I lift almost exclusively on machines. I still sprint, I still jump, I still throw medicine balls, I still mess around with rope climbs and other kinds of stuff. But when I lift, it's almost no barbell and dumbbell work anymore, especially for lower body work. I'm going to tell you the 4 reasons why. The first is body type. Although I believe everyone can squat and can work up to an appreciable 1 rep max, there's definitely a squatting body type, and I don't have it. It's the combination of short femurs and long torso that allows for deep hip and knee angles with a relatively upright torso in the bottom position, which puts the majority of the load onto the quads rather than the lower back. Whenever I've squatted, even with a heel lift, I've had to push my ass way back, which means that I actually take a ton of load through my hamstrings and my lower back. The second is the ability to focus on stress rather than technique. I personally believe that there's an inverse relationship between instability and the ability to generate fatigue. The more stable the exercise, the easier it is to just focus on cranking out the reps and vice versa. The extreme example of stability would be something like an isometric mid-thigh pull, because you're literally strapped in, you can't go anywhere, you just pull. That's why it's considered the gold standard of force output. Resistance machines live closer to the stable force production end of the spectrum, which I think makes it easier to concentrate on generating that force and creating fatigue in the muscles compared to other exercises with higher stability demands, like say a squat, which I believe actually makes the squat an inferior exercise for quad hypertrophy versus something like a leg press. The third reason is the ability to switch positions. As I've said in another video, I had 2 serious knee injuries in recent years, a near complete rupture of my ACL in 2004, and I've also had a bunch of tendonitis on top thanks to some dumb training decisions in my late 20s. So for that reason, I often have to change my position when I lift to avoid pain and also be able to get into deep ranges of motion, be that the angle of my feet, the space between my feet, or how high or low on the plate that I put them. The fourth and final reason is axial loading. On top of my rice paper knees and elbows that do not straighten, there was a good 5-year period in my 20s where my back pain was so bad that I pissed myself in my sleep and I couldn't put my socks on. And ironically, I put myself in this position by chasing load in the squat and the deadlift and by buying into the argument that I wasn't a strength coach if I couldn't put up insane numbers in these lifts. And while I did eventually recover and put up respectable, although not world-beating numbers in these lifts, one thing I have found is that jiu-jitsu and heavy squats and deadlifts are just like oil and water, especially if you're gay enough to try and be a guard player. So I prefer to use leg press variations that allow me to tax my legs without exposing me to as much axial load or wear and tear in terms of my back. So those right there are the big reasons. Before anyone cries about specificity, remember that specificity is just a relationship between how much you improve at a given training exercise and how much you improve at your sport. And the variables influencing that have almost everything to do with the movement and force production characteristics of the exercises you're using, rather than how you choose to generate that movement or that force.